Welcome to About the Winelands. In this show, we will be chatting to leaders, influencers, wine producers, restaurants, and other role players. Tune in every week for our latest episode. You will find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to About the Winelands. Today, we're talking to Bronwyn Amm. Bronwyn is the founder of Hooked on Salmon. Bronwyn, thank you for spending the time with us. And
Such a pleasure. Lovely to be chatting with you, Will.
No, it's our pleasure having you. Thanks for taking the time. I know you're busy. I know you've been running around, and things are cooking in the world of salmon. I guess
Things are heating up.
things are heating up.
Oh, absolutely. It's hot property. Well, salmon is only really for the winter. I mean, only for the summer. But now there's so many beautiful winter salmon dishes, and people need to wake up and realize it's a whole year round thing, and it's the most incredible superfood and delicious too.
Well, that's true. But before we go there, tell us how you a bit about yourself, Bronwyn, and how did you become involved in the food or the salmon or the what do you call it? The food industry or the fishing industry?
Yes. Yes. Well, I come from an entrepreneurial background, but sold my businesses when I had kids. And then I tried a few things from home, which didn't quite work out. It's not easy to become an entrepreneur. And then I was at a 50th and I tasted the most incredible salmon. And I went to the birthday girl and I said, well, where does this salmon come from? And the guy who brings it in direct from Norway happened to be there that night. And I went up to him and I said, look, I'd love to supply this to my friends and family and the locals and the private sector because it's the most incredible. I've never tasted anything like it. It's definitely superior. And he said, well, gave me his card, and this was the end of last year and the rest history. I literally started up at the beginning of the year, and it's gone fantastically, and I feel very blessed.
Well, that's wonderful to hear too. So, Bronwyn, your other businesses that you had, was it also in the food industry or was it something completely different?
No, it wasn't. Completely different. I was in brand ambassadors and actually still stands in Loop Street in Cape Town. It's called, my ex company, I should say. It's called Spotlight NC.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So you started Hooked on Salmon as a business to deliver to households. So tell us, what does Hooked on Salmon do and what products you sell?
So, well, I've literally got all the salmon and trout products. So we basically sell the sliced cold smoked. We do the fresh, the raw, fillets, portions, and hot smoked, already cooked big fillets, which are one of my best sellers. Because a lot of people, when they're entertaining and stuff, they really couldn't be bothered to cook. So these fillets just literally need to be plated, which is amazing. No cooking, no heating, no nothing. And then a lovely salad with that, and what. So those are my products.
So Bronwyn, could you tell us a little bit more about who you sell to?
So I sell to the private sector. This is a special delivery service to your door. When people go onto my website, they fill out their details and they go and put the salmon into their basket. And when they're checking out and paying, then the computer automatically either adds 55 Rand to your order for delivery, or you don't get charged. It all depends on where you live. So if you're out of a certain area, like outside of Constantia, then So a lot of places are for free around here, but then after a certain radius, it's not. You pay 55 Rand. And the beauty is you're paying 55 Rand whether you're in Paarl or whether you're in Somerset West.
Oh, that's very interesting. So that means you actually have quite a big potential market, even though it's just in Cape Town. Are you planning to, in future, maybe supply restaurants and the trade as well, or are you just going to stick to the retail market?
You know, never say never. I'm always, you know, I've only just started, Wills. I've been going since the beginning of the year. So I want to really conquer this market first before I think of developing or moving on to any other areas.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing I'm interested in is you said your salmon is coming from Norway. So all your products imported. Is this all Norwegian salmon?
Yes, that's correct. The trout is locally produced, and the salmon comes from Norway, flown in direct from Norway. And yeah, so people get very confused about salmon arrival and whether it's frozen or whether it's not frozen. They think that if it's not frozen, that it's fresh. If it's frozen, it's not frozen. It's not the case with salmon. It's very different to fish. Fish, if fish is frozen and you cook it, it becomes all watery and all that. Our salmon is very much a superior product, and it comes, the word is fresh frozen. So when you get it at your house, it will be frozen. You either put it in the freezer or you put it in the fridge, depending on when you're going to eat it. But it has a very long freezer shelf life, and once it's out of the freezer and you defrost it, it takes 20 minutes in normal water, and you literally are eating the freshest product ever. You know, and I'm not just being biased because it's my product. I've had so much recall from my customers. Repeat customers can't believe what a wonderful, amazing product is, whether it's, you know, whether it's frozen or, you know what I'm saying. It's definitely a product that is fresh frozen.
So this is interesting.
Yeah.
You're never too old to learn anything. I wanted to ask you actually what your time frame is from the salmon being caught until the dawn, but now you've actually told me. So this is obviously then frozen immediately after it's caught, right? Flash frozen or something, and then and then transported like that. I never knew that.
Yeah. So look, so when it arrives at my, I mean, my supplier, they cure it and they package it, and once that's all done, it gets frozen, right?
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
yes, so because when I say cured, you know, we even do gravidlax, which is the traditional style curing of salmon. And you know, they do all this, and they do it beautifully, and they do it very well. Also the hot smoked side again that I told you about earlier. They really do a superb job at the factory, and yeah, that's really about it.
Well, that's absolutely interesting. So tell me, Bronwyn, the coronavirus, when I mean, you started just before the lockdowns and everything. Will you still be able? Did your salmon count as a necessary evil, and you could still deliver it?
Yes, yes. So I had no idea at the beginning that this whole lockdown thing was going to happen, and I actually did start trading about halfway through. So when I think we were on level 3 or 4, but my point is, yes, it was a necessary. So I did start trading, and it was wonderful. You know, people wanted, especially when people are at home and can't get to the shops, and people want to spoil themselves. Perhaps they're feeling a bit down. You know, salmon is just the way to put any smile on anyone's doll. Just saying.
Absolutely. So your what does your typical customer look like? In the
Can I tell you that I have dropped salmon at homes that are as big as castles, and I've dropped salmon at homes that are literally the smallest, tiniest places. In other words, my market's like pretty diverse.
So everyone's hooked on salmon.
Yes, everyone's on salmon.
So okay,
Exactly.
so that's interesting. So yeah, how do you get your name out there? How do you market?
So it's been word of mouth. A lot of my stuff. As soon as you get a good name on your Facebook page or people start talking about you, it is incredible how word of mouth is seriously just so unbelievably powerful. So I definitely think it's been word of mouth, but I also have been running. I've been boosting some of my posts on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got a massive response from that because everyone loves the stuff, but people know some of them can't afford it from Pick and Pay or Checkers or Food Lovers. It's an expensive product. And then, so alas, I come in with something that is perhaps some people will say it's the same as Woolies. Some people will say, no, it's better than Woolies. People that know their salmon. But my point is I'm coming in at a lower price and it's affordable and it's a value for money, basically.
And it's delivered to your home, which is even better, right?
Correct. Exactly.
So I'm interested in this. I mean, you say, your website looks fabulous as well as your. I mean, when I look at your social media accounts and stuff, I immediately feel hungry. And I want to get some of the want to get some of the salmon. So that's actually very very well done. So you obviously
Thank you.
social media and is very important in your marketing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Very
Okay.
important.
No, that's very, very interesting. So, uh, your business journey, I mean, it seems like this is almost an extension of what you've done in some way because you can use your knowledge that you've gained and
Skills.
the skills to actually do this
Yes.
effectively, right?
Yes, I'm very lucky. I've never been able to work for anyone. I'm one of those kids that is against the grain with everything. And I'm not a conformist, and I'd rather do my own thing than have to answer to anyone. So it's really is wonderful. So yes, as you say, I'm lucky that I've always kind of run my own game and can always just fall back on my creative skills and my whatever. It is great, and I love people. I love people. So my favorite thing is actually building relations with my clients. You start
Yeah.
getting to know them when you're dropping stuff off at their door, like especially if they order like every week. So it's very cool.
Well, that's interesting. That yeah, I mean, obviously it's a consumable, so people will order it often. Um,
Yes.
yes, that's good. So, your business journey. What is the most important thing that you've learned?
um I've learned that the most important thing I think I've learned is that time is very, very precious because you're not going to get that time back. So you literally have to use your time constructively, um, and you've got to work smart and not hard. So time is precious, and if you're setting goals and you're looking ahead and thinking, okay, now what do I want to achieve at the end of the month? You're only going to achieve that if you are using your time correctly. Time is something that is the most precious thing, as we all know. So, alas, I reckon that for me stands out. Time and how you use it, and what you do in your time, and just working smart and not hard.
I think it's so right. One of the most successful companies we've seen recently is Uber. And
Yes,
if you think about them initially, you think they're selling a taxi service, but actually they're selling time. They're selling time and convenience. You can get something at the tip of your
absolutely.
And I suppose it's the same with Amazon. And what you're doing here is also, you know, a direct-to-consumer business where people can get fresh salmon delivered directly to their doorstep, which is absolutely great. What is your long-term vision for this?
I want to literally have most of Cape Town homes buying for me. Most of the homes in Cape Town, like, and when I say that, I mean again within a certain radius. So not going further than Paarl or Stellenbosch, Atlantic Seaboard, Hout Bay, the whole of the burbs. You know, I wish tomorrow another 500 people would know about me, because then I would get, you know, but it unfortunately it doesn't work like that. It takes time. Anything takes time, and people hear about things along the way. So I just
think
want Hooked on Salmon to be, everyone to literally be hooked by like the end of next year.
Well,
You know?
there's two things here. The first thing is, you know, I think that is something that people very quickly learn when they get into online business, is that the photos of you that somebody posted on internet that you were ashamed of, you shouldn't worry about them anymore, because once you start realizing how difficult it is to get people to see something, you realize you're totally
Yes.
over. You know, totally over. There's a total over expectation of how many people are going to see your stuff on social media and on the internet. It's actually very competitive in terms of attention. Um, and
Yes.
secondly, for every household or people to use your
Very.
product regularly, you need to add some value. And one of the values that I've seen you've added on your website is the fact that you're posting suggested recipes and stuff like that. Does that help to sell your product?
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Can, I get Will, thank you first of all for the compliment. And yes, um I can't tell you that I get sales, but I get a lot of engagement on those recipes. And as long as I'm getting engagement, I'm happy.
Well, from the engagement, if you actually start communicating to the people, that will relate into sales. Is there any other way you can add value to make people more aware of the ways they can use salmon and stuff like that?
Yes. I tasted the most incredible wine with someone that I've met. And it's a boutique style wine, which would pair beautifully. You know, usually you pair
Hmm.
wine and cheese, but in this instance, wine also goes well with salmon, especially over in the summer. And I met this lovely guy and tasted his wine, and I'm thinking of perhaps doing a collaboration with him where we can sell our product together. And you know, I just think it's a wonderful thing. Now I'm adding value there because I think this wine is sold all over the world, but I'm wanting to. I was so impressed that I'm wanting to literally get this wine to people's doors as well. You know.
Like the idea of salmon and wine tastings. I think that could go down very, very well.
Yes.
So I'm talking about wine, Bronwyn. Are you a wine lover?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you are on the About the Winelands
Is
podcast,
that's I'm just totally honored to be here.
and you are in the Winelands, being in Constantia. So, tell us a bit about what is your favorite type of wine?
So I love I'm actually not I love a Shannon, a good Shannon, or I like a nice unwitted Chardonnay, something
Hmm.
light. And I enjoy very, very easy drinking rosé, like a very smooth, sort of fruity, not dry rosé is what I'm trying to say. So those are my faves. Yeah.
That's interesting that you mentioned unwooded Chardonnay, because I don't know if you remember, because you're still a youngster, but in the early 90s, people used to overwood their Chardonnays. It was
What
very
did they
like
do with the What did
they
they
made
do with the Chardonnay?
they overwooded it. I mean, it was really
Oh
like they
my
almost tried to make a
goodness.
red wine out of it. The way they let it lie in oak
Oh
for
my
months.
word. Imagine how buttery that would have been, hey?
Yeah, no, was crazy. But that used to be the craze, and then the last few years it's changed back completely. So yes.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
So Bronwyn, being in the Winelands and on the Winelands
Yeah.
podcast, I've got to ask you, everyone asks the same question. You've got to give me your favorite wine quote, or if you don't have one, you've got to invent one or steal
Oh
one.
no, oh no, I've got a few. I've got a few, but
Oh,
my
really?
favorite one, yeah, no, but my favorite one is um, wine is not just an object of pleasure, but an object of knowledge, and the pleasure depends on the knowledge.
I absolutely love that. Wine makes you think, right? I love it.
Yep, yep,
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Bronwyn, if people want to get hold of you and they want to order salmon, how do they get hold of Hooked on Salmon?
So they just need to go straight to my website, which is www.hookedonsalmon.co.za, and they just click on shop, and it'll take them through where they fill out their address, and their name and cell number, and then they can put whatever they want into the basket, and then they check out and they pay through um, what is it? Fast. Oh no, I've just lost it now. It's not PayPal. It's
Pay fast.
Pay fast. That's it. So, and it's very secure. So yeah, that's how we're doing it.
Awesome. And how long do you wait for delivery?
Every Thursday and Friday are the delivery days. And
Okay.
then sometimes people in my area here, like for example today, I had someone saying, "Oh my gosh, forgot to call you this week. I mean, not call you. I forgot to order. Do you have stock?" I said, "Absolutely." And I've organized because she's got a whole crowd coming on Saturday. So I've got all her package ready and all that. So really, so it is Thursday and Friday is delivery day, but I'm also quite happy to go out of my way for my customers because they are the ones at the end of the day that are always right. And I've got to keep them happy.
Awesome, Bronwyn. Your business sounds fascinating, and and I can already see it's bringing value here into our winelands. So I think you're going to be
Wonderful.
successful.
Bless you. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you for taking the time again. And yes, I'd love to have a call with you in a few months' time, and we'll have a follow up and hear how it's going.
Awesome. Thank you. I so appreciate that. Thank you, Will.
Okay, thank you very
Um,
much, Bronwyn. Have a nice day.
take care. Take care, Will. Thank you. And enjoy your glass of whatever you're having tonight. Glass of shardy or whatever it is, huh?
Certainly will. You as well.
Thank you for supporting our show. If you would like to get more exposure for your business, please have a look at our sponsorship options. Thanks again for supporting About the Winelands. Please follow us on YouTube and on our social media channels. All details and links are in the description.